From Shane McCutcheon's swagger in The L Word to Poussey Washington's journey in Orange is the New Black, TV has given us some truly unforgettable Masc Lesbians. These are the women who showed a generation what it looked like to love women, on their own terms and with a whole lot of style. But who is the most legendary of them all? Well, today we're going to try and settle that debate with a list. Now, I'll warn you, get ready to argue in the comments because my number one pick might not be your number one pick. So before we get into the ranking, let's talk about what we mean by masc. Masculine of centre is a huge and beautiful spectrum. For this list, we're looking at characters who carry a certain style, an energy, a swagger that sets them apart. Their gender presentation is as much a part of their identity as their sexuality. Think of it less like a strict checklist and more like a flavour profile. You just know when you taste it. We're ranking based on cultural impact, iconic moments, and the space these characters carved out on our screens. First, some crucial honourable mentions who absolutely deserve a shout out. So we have to acknowledge the one and only Big Boo from Orange is the New Black. Along with the actress Lea DeLaria, she brought the term butch out and proud and unapologetically into the mainstream. And then, of course, there's also Denise from Master of None, whose quiet confidence and killer style made her an instant fan favourite. These characters paved the way, but today we're counting down the top 5. Coming in at number 5 is a modern icon who proves that masc representation is alive and well. Max Baker from Ginny in Georgia. Max is such a breath of fresh air. What makes her feel so current is just how casual the show is about her identity. From the get-go, Max is comfortably herself, and her storylines aren't about the trauma of coming out, but the hilarious, awkward and messy realities of being a teenager, navigating all the crushes and drama. She's played with such infectious energy. While the actress has said that Max is still figuring things out, she lives her life out loud. She's theatrical, she's horny, she's full of fully realised character firsts for representing a new, less angst-filled generation of queer storytelling. Max Baker has more than earned her spot. At number 4, we're throwing it back to the 1940s, with a character who mixes classic Hollywood glamour with an unmistakable masculine confidence. Greta Gill from A League of Their Own. Played with smouldering perfection, Greta embodies what many viewers embraced as a kind of sophisticated butch energy. On the surface, she's the impossibly cool baseman for the Rockford Peaches, and underneath she's a sharp protective leader who knows the dangerous game of survival, especially for queer people in her time. Her romance with Carson Shaw is the beating heart of the series, a sweeping love story that feels both epic and incredibly intimate. Greta's legendary status comes from her duality. She's like a classic muscle car with a flawless paint job, gleaming and beautiful on the outside, but powerful with a roaring engine underneath. She represents countless queer women in history who had to build communities in secret and find love against all odds, all the while looking effortlessly cool doing it. Coming in at number 3 is a character whose light was so bright it made her ultimate fate one of the most heartbreaking moments in modern TV history, and that's Poussey Washington from Orange is the New Black. Poussey was brought to life by an incredible actress, Samira Wiley, and she had such a pure heart. In the brutal world of Litchfield, she was a source of humour, intelligence and loyalty. And while other characters on the list are definitely defined by their swagger, Poussey's legend comes from her softness. If some masc characters are a shot of whiskey, all bold swagger and burn, Poussey was a library on a rainy day, quiet, comforting and full of depth. Her masc presentation wasn't about being tough, it was about being comfortable in her own skin. And as one of the few black masculine presenting queer women on TV, She was given such a rich and humanizing story, and she was revolutionary. Her backstory, her fluency in German, and her devastating love story with So gave her a depth that just went far beyond the prison walls. Poussey's death was a powerful statement on social justice, but the legacy of her life is one of love, laughter, and also the importance of seeing gentle, joyful, black queer women on screen. All right, we're halfway, and we're heading into our top 2. And this is where it gets really interesting. Before I reveal my number 2, I want to hear from you. Who is your top 3? Like, who did I miss? Drop your picks in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's next. At number 2 is a character who, for years, wasn't even explicitly queer. She's an icon built on subtext, attitude, and pure, unadulterated grit. Susie Myerson from the marvellous Mrs. Maisel. I can hear your keyboards clacking already, but is she really a lesbian? Well, for 4 seasons, that was a big question. From the very first episode, with her newsboy cap, gruff voice, and total disdain for the 1950s femininity, Susie was claimed by the queer community. It didn't matter what the script said, her entire vibe was rebellion. Her legend was forged in that ambiguity. She was like a constellation that the creators hadn't officially named, but we all looked up and saw the same shape in the stars. Her walk, her talk, her fierce protectiveness of Midge, it all read as queer to so many of us. And then, in the final season, we got the confirmation of a past romance with a woman named Hedy. But honestly, the confirmation was just a bonus. The community had already decided. Susie Myerson is so high on this list because she represents the long history of queer people finding icons in spaces between the lines. She's proof that sometimes an icon isn't handed to you by a script. She is chosen by the audience that needs her the most. And now, for the number 1 spot. The most legendary Masc lesbian in television history. Could it really be anyone else? The blueprint, the icon, the undisputed queen of the on-screen swagger for nearly 2 decades. That is Shane McCutcheon from The L Word. Now, when you think of Masc Lesbian on TV, Shane's face is probably the first one that pops into your head. Played by the one and only Kate Mowing, Shane wasn't just a character. She was a cultural phenomenon. Her androgynous style, the shaggy hair, the vests, low-slung jeans, defined a look for an entire generation. Shane embodied the player stereotype, a heartbreaker with a new person in her bed every week. But what made her so compelling was the vulnerability that she tried so hard to hide. For all her conquests, Shane was fiercely loyal to her friends and was always searching for a connection that she couldn't quite hold on to. She's the blueprint because she laid out the architectural plans for this type of on-screen coolness. Many who came after were building on the foundation that she created, for defining a look, an attitude, and a new era of queer representation on television. Shane McCutcheon is, without a doubt, the most legendary Masc lesbian in TV history. So that's the list. From the modern chaos of Max Baker to the historical glamour of Greta Gill, the heartbreaking warmth of Poussey Washington, the subtext-fueled power of Susie Myerson, and then the game-changing, undisputed swagger of Shane McCutcheon. Each of these characters expanded our idea of what a Masc lesbian could be on television. That's my ranking anyways, but I'd like to know what yours is. You know, this is not the final word. The debate is officially in your hands now. So do you agree with my number 1? If not, who is your all-time most legendary Masc lesbian? Let me know everything in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, do me a favor. Remember, hit that button for subscribe, like, ring the bell, all that jazz. You'll never miss another video. Take care. Until next time, bye-bye.